Imposter syndrome is about believing that you are a fraud, fearing that they will find out, believing everyone is better than you. You walk around looking confident on the surface, and you don't tell people that inside you are terrified you will eventually mess up and be exposed as a fraud. Because we hide these feelings, we don't realize how many others are experiencing the same doubts. Most of us who struggle with imposter syndrome worry a lot about what others think of us. When you put yourself out into the public arena, you will probably get criticized. People love to bitch, and if you dare to rise, there likely will be someone somewhere who will have something to say about it. You need not concern yourself with a stranger's negativity. You can spare a moment to feel empathy for the emotional pain that causes their caustic behavior, and then move on to create something amazing in your life. Stop for a moment and think about the things you believe you can't do. Who do you look at and think, I could never do that? What have you achieved that you once believed you couldn't? What did it feel like at the beginning? Did you ever worry that it would never come together? Was it easier or harder than you believed it would be? What can you learn from this? Think about the people you admire whose achievements and success seem out of your reach. Are they superhuman? Did they always have these skills? Or did they have to learn them? No one starts out being able to do everything or anything. We all have to learn and start somewhere. When we see success, it is the culmination of weeks, months, and even years of work. If another human being has done it, there is every chance you can do it too. Reaching your own goals and dreams rarely happens by accident. Instead, it requires intention, focus, and the willingness to be introspective. The primary aim of the unconscious mind is to protect us, because it does not want us to fail or to look like a fool. The simplest way to avoid failure is to never begin. When you put yourself in the spotlight by starting a business, pursuing education, or starting a relationship, you are opening yourself to the possibility of ridicule, failure, and embarrassment. Wouldn't it just be easier not to bother? You must accept failure as a possibility, as a part of the journey, not the ultimate destination. Our beliefs come from somewhere. We are not born believing that we are not good enough. Who springs to your mind when considering the negative words you hear yourself saying? You might also convince yourself you are not good enough because no one in your family has ever amounted to anything. You don't have the experience. You have failed in other areas, so why will this be different? You don't finish things. You are better with structure. You work best in a team. You won't make it on your own. Your brain doesn't work like that. You didn't do well in school. It's arrogant to believe you are good enough. And only the special few are capable. 3 out of 4 businesses, relationships, fitness plans fail. Wherever the current number, that means there is also a number that succeeds. There are too many people doing it already. There is always room for another, because you will do it in your own unique way. Someone did it, and they lost everything. You are your own person, and what is true of others may not be true of you. Envy makes it difficult to be successful, because it's based in fear and a feeling of lack, rather than abundance. When we are envious of others, we can't feel good about their successes, because it reflects on what we don't have. We can't bear to see others doing well, because it shines a light on our own feelings of inadequacy. It's easier to tear them down than face our own lack of commitment to success and ultimate failure to launch. If only we could see that rejoicing in the happiness and goodness of other people's lives is the key to unlocking our own abundance. We must look at what we can learn from the tall poppies, instead of lopping them off at the head. A good antidote to envy is gratitude. When we consider all that we have to be grateful for, it often has the power to wash away feelings of lack. Also, it is useful to look at others and ask yourself some honest questions. Would I want their life? Would I be prepared to do what they have done, to have what they have? When we want something, it is possible we can have it if we are prepared to work hard. A top violin player might have to practice for up to 16 hours a day. Are you willing to give that level of commitment to achieve your goals? When we do work that we are passionate about, it is possible to get into a flow state, and time melts away. Yet, success also requires hard work, even if you don't love what you do. Sometimes we don't know what we want until we try it out. We might dream of a career, a hobby, a vacation, or trip, and discover that it is not what we want to do. Start with getting to know yourself, what you like, what you want to do with your time. Self-confidence grows as you learn to do the things you want to do, though at first it is hard to know what that is. What in your life makes you feel good? What are the things you claim to enjoy, but really do only to please others? If you could, what kinds of activities would you do instead? In a career or family business, it can be confusing to untangle what we want from what is expected of us. When others are involved in the decision or influence us, we might not know for sure what we want. What have you always thought you would do if there was nothing to stop you? If you were good enough? Others can discourage us from following our dreams because they are afraid to follow their own. It may not be a conscious decision to discourage you or have you doubt yourself. And when we have a lack of confidence in our convictions, it doesn't take much to knock us down. Always question the source of advice and their potential motives. Your willingness to take a risk shines a hard light on others' lack of confidence in their own abilities. Again, they may not be purposefully jeopardizing your success. They may struggle with their own self-worth and project that onto you. You might be good at something and not enjoy doing it. Or there might be things that are just not your thing. That's okay. You do not have to be good at everything. Find what you want to do. You might be passionate about it. You might not. The key thing to remember is that you get to make the choice. Not everyone will like you or everything that you do. In this life, you will appeal to the right people, whether that's friends, clients, or employers. Stop trying to fit in. The world needs what you have, so don't waste your time on those who are not your people. There are billions of people in the world. You can't please them all. To be the authentic you might even have to upset a few of them. Do you ever think some people just get there more easily or quickly than you do? Maybe they do in some areas of their life. Yet, most accomplished people must make a consistent effort, never giving up, not complaining, just doing it. We can't look at other people and decide we are not as good as them if we don't at least try. There are a million ways to achieve your goal or follow your dream, and you do not have to do it the same way your friend or guru does it. But how do you know what you want? How can you trust your own judgment when it has betrayed you for so long? Begin by questioning your motives. What do you like? In a world dominated by social media, it's difficult to separate what we want from what we think will impress people. Next time you make a choice, ask yourself, is this just for me? Or is it to impress other people? You will not know what you like if you are afraid to step away from what you have always done. Starting scared is still starting. It doesn't matter if our efforts aren't perfect, or even if moving forward feels uncomfortable and unfamiliar. Forward movement is the key. It really doesn't matter. Just do something. Let's say you want to exercise. There is no magic formula. Put one foot in front of the other and walk around the block, up the stairs, or to the far corner of the store parking lot. Just start moving. Everyone starts with that single step. Maybe you want to write a book. Start with a title, a single character, or a brief story. Brainstorm, research, read about your topic, and keep writing. Eventually, you will hit a groove. Every single wonderful thing in life began somewhere. A note becomes a symphony. A word becomes a literary treasure. A line of code becomes a best-selling app. A kind word becomes a friendship. We cannot get better if we do not start. Anything we want to achieve will require action. And that first step is often the scariest. If you are not sure what skills you have, it is worth taking an inventory. Think about what other people say about you. What do they say you are good at? What do they praise you for? See all the ways you add value to people's lives, and all you can do. If you keep waiting, there might come a time when it will be harder to get started than right now. You are smart enough. If you can read, then you can learn. If there is something you don't know how to do, there are people willing to show you, or a YouTube video that can demonstrate it. This is the perfect time to do that thing you want to do. If you fail, you just try another way until you figure it out. Sometimes we believe in ourselves at the start, only to fall victim to our doubts later on the journey. Often this happens when we are getting close to our goals. We doubt ourselves just as we are ready to cross the finish line. This is normal. We can push down the feelings of self-doubt for only so long, and then self-sabotage kicks in, and we are back to the feeling that we can't do it. Pushing through and remembering past successes is a good way to remind ourselves that we can do it. Another thing that is making your imposter syndrome worse is social media. Everyone is apparently eating gorgeous food, dining at expensive restaurants, wearing the best clothes, and visiting exotic locations with their gorgeous significant others. Many smart, accomplished people never post their achievements online. They are too busy making things happen. Don't believe everything you see online. It's not necessarily a lie, but you can bet it's been varnished and tweaked to making it just a little shinier. If you compare yourself to the overnight successes that really aren't, you will end up disappointed and depressed. The next time you see someone post on social media and wonder how they are suddenly a hit when they have been doing it for all of 5 minutes, accept that you might not be seeing the whole picture. Maybe there has been build-up you haven't seen, or maybe they have a lot of support, and you are only seeing a small part of the story. Not everything is as it appears, and you might be comparing yourself to an illusion. How can you measure up to something that doesn't really exist? Posting on social media and not getting likes can feel like throwing a party where no one shows up. For most people, it still feels like a rejection if our carefully crafted meme or photograph or witty comment does not get lots of positive reactions. When did this become so important? When did we all start needing admiration, adoration, and the confirmation that we are okay, that we are liked, or even loved? One helpful exercise in strengthening our emotional resilience and fighting imposter syndrome is to put something out there that you like, are happy with, and believe in, and then walk away without worrying how it's received. Don't look back. Don't check your likes every hour. Just let it be. Does it seem that everyone around you is doing more with their time? We all have the same number of hours in the day, and yet some people seem to spend theirs more productively. We don't really know how people spend their time. We know what they tell us and show us on social media. But just because someone is seemingly always busy does not mean that they are doing something useful with their time. Before you compare yourself to others, stop and remember that your time is best used on your projects. Figuring out how others are spending their time will not move you further along. So don't get sucked into that game. Comparing our productivity with others is another form of self-sabotage, because while we are looking into their backyards, we are not getting our own work done. No invention or creation ever started out perfect. Virtually everything has to grow and develop into a more fully realized and finished product. If you look at someone's first product, it probably wasn't very good, or not as good as their current stuff. Whatever you are waiting to do, even if you waited 100 years, it is unlikely that it would ever be exactly how you wanted it to be. Accepting that things are a little less polished than you would like will help you be more productive. Once you get started, you will get better. If you ever worry about imperfection, look at the reviews of your favorite book. There will always be one-star reviews. Also, check out travel sites and find a destination that you have been to and love. You will see that there are some negative reviews on almost everything. Whatever you do, you won't please everyone. You might not even completely please yourself. It is so much better to get started. You might even find negative feedback is helpful in knowing what to do better next time. Wherever you came from matters to the extent that some have a better start in life than others. Yet, where you start doesn't have to dictate where you end up. You can always restart. This book is not groundbreaking, though it does have some good insights. It can motivate you for a short term, but it doesn't really give a solution to the problem.